What if everything you ever needed was given to you, but with one tiny rule? Imagine a place filled with the most beautiful flowers, the sweetest fruits, and the gentle whisper of waterfalls. This was the Garden of Eden, a paradise unlike any other, lovingly created by God. Here, God crafted the very first man, Adam, from the earth itself. And to keep him company, God gently formed Eve from Adam's rib, bringing them together as the first family. They were given a wonderful task: to care for this magnificent garden and enjoy its endless wonders, living in pure harmony. But in the heart of this perfect home stood one special tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God had a simple, clear instruction for Adam and Eve. You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, except this one. He explained that eating from it would change everything, introducing something they didn't yet know. Their happiness depended on trusting this one boundary. But in a world of pure innocence, how easy is it to ignore a single temptation? Will Adam and Eve choose to listen to God's loving guidance, or will their curiosity lead them down a path that forever alters their perfect world? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a perfect world, only to lose it all with one single choice? Imagine a place where every breath was pure joy, where vibrant flowers bloomed eternally, and where peace reigned supreme. This was the Garden of Eden, a breathtaking paradise crafted with divine care, a sanctuary untouched by sorrow. Here lived Adam and Eve, the very first humans, blessed by God with dominion over this magnificent world. Their lives were simple, filled with wonder, and free from hardship, with just one easy rule to follow: do not eat from the forbidden tree. But a cunning whisper slithered through the leaves. The serpent, sly and tempting, planted a seed of doubt, urging them to taste the fruit God had forbidden. In a moment of weakness, a single bite changed everything. Adam and Eve disobeyed. Their simple act broke the perfect harmony. God, saddened by their choice, had to cast them out of their beloved garden. Now, expelled from paradise and cursed with a world of toil and hardship, how will Adam and Eve learn to survive and find hope beyond the gates of Eden? Can a single act of envy tear a family apart and echo through time? Long ago, in the early days, after Adam and Eve, the world was fresh and new. Here lived two brothers, Cain and Abel. Cain, the elder, toiled as a farmer, cultivating the earth. His younger brother Abel was a gentle shepherd, caring for his flocks with devotion. Both worked hard, wanting to honor God with their efforts. One day, each brother brought an offering. Cain presented some of his harvest, while Abel offered the very best of his flock. God looked kindly upon Abel's gift, seeing the purity in his heart. But Cain's offering did not find favor. This rejection burned in Cain, sparking a deep, consuming jealousy that twisted his heart. This bitter resentment grew until, in a moment of overwhelming emotion, Cain committed an unthinkable act. He lured his brother Abel into the field and tragically took his life. God confronted Cain, and the weight of his sin became unbearable. Marked and banished, Cain was sent away. Now, his greatest challenge begins. How will he live with the indelible mark of his actions, forever wandering a world he defiled? What happens when people forget what's good, and kindness vanishes from the world? Imagine a time long, long ago when our world was still fresh and new, bursting with life and endless possibilities. God, who lovingly crafted every star and every creature, had brought humanity into existence. He watched over them, hoping for a world filled with joy and goodness. But as people grew in number, something sad and troubling began to happen. The story, sometimes called The Wickedness of Humanity, tells us a heavy truth. Instead of growing in kindness, the thoughts in everyone's hearts turned only to evil, all the time. It wasn't just a few bad choices. It was a constant stream of hurtful ideas, filling every mind. This profound darkness caused God deep sorrow, so much so that he regretted ever making them. Now, imagine the weight of that feeling. What can be done when the very essence of creation has strayed so far? How will a loving Creator respond when the people he made bring only heartache? Can you imagine a world so full of trouble, so far from good, that it had to be completely reset? Long, long ago, the world was bustling with people, but sadly, many had forgotten how to be kind. Their hearts were filled with unkindness, and the world grew heavy with their choices. Amidst all the chaos, there was one special man named Noah. He was different, a good soul who truly cared about doing what was right. God saw Noah's heart and chose him for an incredible, life-changing mission. Because things on earth had become so difficult, God made a tough decision. He announced that a great flood was coming, so powerful it would cover everything, washing away all life. But God had a plan for Noah and his family. Noah was asked to build a huge boat, an ark, to keep his wife, his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives safe. And not just them. He had to gather 2 of every kind of animal, big and small, to join them inside. Could one man, with his family, really build something so immense and gather all the world's creatures to save them from the coming deluge and start life anew? Have you ever thought about the most important promise ever made? Imagine a world completely washed clean, fresh, and quiet after an incredible journey. This was the world Noah stepped into after safely guiding his family and every kind of animal through the massive waters of the great flood. Noah was a good man, chosen by God to restart life on earth. He had faced the unthinkable, watched the world change forever, and now stood on new ground, ready to begin again. But after such a powerful event, there was a big question. Would this ever happen again? Would the world ever be flooded like that, bringing everything to an end? That's when something wonderful happened. God himself spoke to Noah. He made a special promise, a covenant, not just for Noah, but for all his family and everyone who would come after them, forever. God promised never again to destroy the earth with a flood. And as a beautiful, colorful sign of this never-ending promise, he placed the rainbow in the sky. Noah's challenge was to accept this incredible gift, to trust in God's word, and to build a hopeful future for all of us, knowing the world was safe. Imagine a time when everyone spoke the very same language, sharing every thought and dream without a single misunderstanding. What amazing things could humanity achieve with such perfect unity? Well, long, long ago, after a huge flood had reset the world, this was exactly how things were. In a beautiful, fertile land called Shinar, people lived together, building their lives, all speaking one common tongue. They shared big ideas and even bigger dreams. Their leader, a mighty man named Nimrod, inspired everyone. Looking up at the endless sky, they decided on the most ambitious project ever: to build a tower so tall its top would reach the heavens themselves. This wasn't just a building. It was a symbol of their incredible unity and their desire to touch the divine. They called it the Tower of Babel. But this grand plan didn't go unnoticed. From above, God saw their incredible ambition. He worried that such singular focus might lead humanity away from his greater plan for them to spread across and fill the earth. So, to guide them back, a powerful and surprising change was made. In an instant, their one language turned into many, many different ones. Suddenly, no one could understand each other. Construction stopped as confusion reigned. How would humanity, now scattered and speaking different tongues, learn to live together and build a future in a world that had suddenly become so wonderfully, yet chaotically, diverse? If this touched your heart, please follow, comment, and share. Together, we can spread God's word. Thanks